We definitely would find structures covered by sediments. We would also see structures in unfeasible or impossible locations. We should also find modern or advanced items scattered about the landscape. They would definitely be in various levels of that sediment. We should be able to see the artifacts from one culture on every continent. And those structures that you would find should be common across the globe. It's likely that everything would not be completely lost. So we should find potentially copy cultures. And how you would identify these cultures is there would be a regression in their technologic timeline. Large areas might be totally covered in sediment. And if those were ever completely eroded, we would find the structures that were covered. And the culture you would find there should potentially match other examples. We would see large terraformed areas with their imagery and unexplainable rock formations. We would see materials repurposed by later cultures and possibly misidentified. Occasionally, we would discover older examples of knowledge predating their documented discoveries. We might see symbolism repurposed or modern examples. We should also find evidence and artifacts of a non-human presence on Earth. We could probably go on, but you can see how this is kind of adding up. But what it doesn't explain is why all these cultures stacked up these stones and kind of started doing their thing after this event. Well, thanks to this man's hard work, we might get some answers. In some of his early videos, he compares the similar accounts of these legends. They all had both human and dragon form. They all set up systems of worship. They all stated they came from a land that was destroyed by a flood. They all had advanced abilities and shared advanced knowledge. Really seems like those dragon guys are just those gods mentioned by Plato. With that, we can immediately assume they possess the technology to survive the event. This would explain why we kind of find similar spiritual practices around all these megalithic sites. It would also explain why they chose those stones specifically. The newly discovered feathered dragon geoglyph in the Mediterranean is evidence that they reached further than just the Americas, and likely other parts of the world. This new temple site being found at the geoglyph location suggests post-event people chose these locations intentionally. The one mystery I will address head-on is Göbekli Tepe. Bright Insight recently pointed out its proximity to the potential location of Noah's Ark. He went on to theorize that those remnants of humanity might have a hand in its construction. Seeing that it's supposed to be a record of these cataclysmic events, Noah's involvement would turn this into a two-team situation. But regardless of his involvement, or even his existence at all, if the story or the warning that it tells has anything to do with the story that I just told you, well, it would be catastrophic for many people's life's work. Hell, if people knew that the stones between those pillars were from that much older advanced culture, it would be problematic. This would easily explain the weird behavior by those in charge. And when you realize that comparable things can be found all over the world in abundance, well, that would explain the poor treatment. They're not naive to this situation. They know what's going on. They probably see it as inconvenient trash. And if you believe in that sort of thing, well, it's the other team's trash.